Hello, dear learner. Welcome back to English Story Time. Today, we have a touching story to help you practice your listening skills in English. It's about moments that change us, set in a quiet park where paths cross in unexpected ways. Enjoy the story, and if you like it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more tales that make learning English an adventure. Ready to start? In a small town in England, there is a beautiful park named Greenfield Park. Every morning, when the sun rises, an old man named Mr. Thompson walks slowly to his favorite bench. He wears a brown hat and a warm coat, even in summer. The bench is under a big oak tree, and it looks at the small lake in the park. Mr. Thompson sits there alone, watching the ducks swim and the children play. People walk by him every day, but no one stops to talk. They are busy with their phones or their thoughts. Mr. Thompson doesn't mind. He smiles at everyone, but his eyes look sad. One day, a little girl named Sophie sees Mr. Thompson. She is curious because he is always alone. Her mother says, "I don't know, but maybe he likes the quiet." Sophie thinks about this and decides to talk to him. The next day, she brings a small ball and asks Mr. Thompson if he wants to play. He is surprised but happy. They play catch near the bench, and Mr. Thompson laughs for the first time in years. After playing, they sit on the bench together. Sophie asks, "Do you come here every day?" Mr. Thompson nods and says, "Yes, I like to remember happy times." Sophie doesn't understand but feels his words are important. She promises to visit him again. From that day, Sophie and Mr. Thompson meet often. They talk, feed the ducks, and enjoy the park together. The old man is no longer alone, and the little girl learns about kindness and friendship. Every day, the old man sits on his bench in Greenfield Park, watching the world go by. People walk past him, their eyes on their phones or lost in thought. They are always in a hurry, never stopping to say hello. Among them is a woman named Sarah, who walks her dog every morning. She sees the old man but thinks he must want to be alone. Then there's Tom, a young man who jogs by the park every evening. He notices the old man but doesn't stop because he's too focused on his run. One afternoon, a little boy named Jack is playing near the bench. He looks at the old man and asks, "Why are you sitting here all by yourself?" The old man smiles and says, "I like to watch the birds and the trees." Jack sits down next to him, and they talk about the birds they see. For the first time in a long while, the old man doesn't feel alone. The next day, Jack brings his friend Mia to meet the old man. They all sit together, sharing stories and laughing. Slowly, more people start to notice the old man. Sarah stops to pet her dog near the bench and says hello. Tom takes a break from his run to sit and chat. The park becomes a place where people meet and talk, all because one little boy stopped to ask a simple question. The old man's bench is no longer just a place to sit alone, it's where friendships begin. One afternoon, the sun was shining bright over Greenfield Park. A boy named Noah was playing with his red ball near the old oak tree. He saw the old man sitting alone on his usual bench, watching the ducks in the lake. Noah stopped his game and looked at the man. He wondered why the old man was always by himself. Noah remembered seeing him every day but never talking to him. He felt a little sad for the man. Noah decided to go over. He walked up to the bench and said, "Hello, sir. My name is Noah. Do you like watching the ducks too?" The old man looked surprised but happy. He smiled and said, "Hello, Noah. Yes, I do. They remind me of happy times." Noah sat down next to him. "Why are you always alone here?" Noah asked. The old man sighed softly. "I come here to remember my wife. We used to sit here together, he said. Noah listened carefully. I can sit with you sometimes, if you want, Noah offered. The old man's eyes twinkled. I would like that very much, he said. From that day, Noah visited the old man often. They talked about many things, school, the ducks, and even the old man's wife. The bench was no longer a lonely place. It became a place of friendship and shared stories. Noah learned that a simple hello could make a big difference. The park was quiet that afternoon, with only the sound of leaves rustling in the gentle breeze. The old man sat on his usual bench, his hands resting on his knees, watching the world go by. Then, a boy named Jake, who had noticed the old man many times before, felt a tug at his heart. He wondered why the man was always alone. With a deep breath, Jake walked over and sat down beside him. "Hello," Jake said softly. The old man turned to him, a little surprised but smiling. "Hello, young man," he replied. Jake hesitated for a moment before asking, "I see you here every day. Why do you come to the park so much?" The old man looked out at the trees and sighed. "This park holds many memories for me," he began. "My wife and I used to come here together. She loved the flowers, especially in spring." Jake listened intently as the old man shared stories of his past, of laughter and love, and of loss. "I come here to feel close to her," the old man admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. Jake felt a lump in his throat. "That's beautiful," he said. "Would you like some company sometimes?" The old man's eyes lit up. "I would like that very much," he said. From that day on, Jake visited the old man regularly. They would sit together, sometimes talking, sometimes just enjoying the silence. The park became a place of connection, bridging the gap between generations. And the old man, who once sat alone, now had a friend who cared enough to ask why. The old man smiled at Jake, his eyes twinkling like stars in the evening sky. "Let me tell you a story," he began, his voice warm like sunshine. "Many years ago, when I was young like you, I met a wonderful woman in this very park. Her name was Rose, and she loved these flowers more than anything." Jake sat quietly, watching the old man's face light up as he spoke. "We would meet here every Saturday," the old man continued. "She brought sandwiches, and I brought coffee. We talked for hours under this same oak tree." The man pointed to a big tree nearby. "One spring day, I asked Rose to marry me right here on this bench. She said yes, and we were so happy." Jake saw tears in the old man's eyes but kept listening. "After 50 years together, Rose got very sick. Before she left me, she made me promise to keep coming to our special place." The old man touched the bench gently. "So I come every day to remember her smile, her laugh, and all our happy times. The birds sing our songs, and the wind whispers her name." Jake felt his own eyes getting wet. "That's the most beautiful story I ever heard," he said. The old man patted Jake's hand. "Thank you for listening, my boy. Stories live longer when they're shared." Just then, a red bird landed near them, singing a sweet song. "Look," Jake said. "Maybe that's Rose saying hello." The old man laughed softly. "Maybe it is, Jake. Maybe it is." The old man looked at the bench with a soft smile. "This is where I first met my wife, Clara," he said to Jake. "It was a sunny day in May, just like today. I was sitting here reading a book when she walked by. Her dress was blue, like the sky, and she dropped her scarf right there." He pointed to a spot near the bench. "I picked it up and called to her. When she turned around, I saw her smile for the first time. It was the most beautiful smile I had ever seen." Jake listened, his eyes wide. "What happened next?" he asked. "We talked for hours," the old man continued. "She told me about her love for painting, and I told her about my job at the library. We met here every day after that. One evening, as the sun was setting, I told her I loved her for the first time on this very bench." The old man's voice was warm with memory. "A year later, I asked her to marry me here too. She said yes, and we were married in the little church down the road." Jake smiled. "That's a wonderful story," he said. The old man nodded. "Yes, it is. Clara has been gone for 10 years now, but when I sit here, I can still hear her laugh and see her smile. This bench is my favorite place in the world because it reminds me of her." Jake thought for a moment. "Maybe benches can hold memories too," he said. The old man patted Jake's shoulder. "You're a smart boy, Jake. Yes, they can. And now, you're part of this bench's story too." The old man's eyes sparkled as he remembered. "Clara and I spent countless afternoons on this bench," he told Jake. "We talked about everything, our hopes, our dreams, silly little things that made us laugh. Sometimes we just sat quietly, watching the clouds or listening to the birds." He pointed to the oak tree nearby. "One summer, we decided to plant flowers around that tree. Clara loved daisies because they were simple and happy, just like her." Jake noticed how the old man's voice got softer when he spoke about Clara. "What did you dream about?" Jake asked. The old man chuckled. "Oh, we dreamed about traveling to see mountains and oceans. We wanted to have a house with a big garden where Clara could paint and I could read. Most of all, we dreamed about growing old together right here in this town." He paused, looking at the empty space beside him. "Life didn't give us all those things, but it gave us something better, love that lasted a lifetime." Jake thought about his own dreams. "Do you think dreams are important?" The old man nodded. "Very important, Jake. Dreams are like stars. You might not reach them, but they light your way." Just then, a breeze rustled the leaves above them, making dappled sunlight dance on the bench. "Clara would say that's the wind saying hello," the old man smiled. Jake smiled too, understanding now why this place was so special. After Clara passed away, the old man felt a deep sadness. But every morning, he still walked to their bench in Greenfield Park. He sat there, remembering their happy times together. The birds still sang, and the flowers still bloomed, but without Clara, everything felt different. One day, a little girl named Sophie saw him sitting alone. She walked over and sat beside him. "Why do you come here every day?" she asked. The old man looked at her with kind eyes. "This bench is special to me," he said. "It helps me remember someone I love very much." Sophie listened as he told her about Clara. "Do you feel her here with you?" Sophie asked. The old man smiled. "Yes, I do. When the wind blows, I think it's her saying hello. When the sun shines, I feel her warmth." Sophie thought for a moment. "Maybe she's happy that you still come here," she said. The old man nodded. "I think so too." From that day on, Sophie often joined him on the bench. They would talk, or sometimes just sit quietly together. The old man realized that while he came to the bench to remember Clara, he was also making new memories with Sophie. The bench was still a place of love, just in a different way. And though he missed Clara, he felt grateful for the time they had and for the new friendship he found. Jake sat very still as the old man spoke about Clara. He watched the way the man's hands trembled slightly when he said her name, and how his eyes looked far away, like he was seeing her again. Jake had never felt such sadness before, but also such love. It was big and warm, like the sun on his face. I miss her every day, the old man said quietly. Jake didn't know what to say, so he just nodded. He wanted to understand. The old man pointed to a spot near the bench. That's where she planted her first flowers. They were yellow, like sunshine. Jake looked and saw tiny yellow flowers still growing there. He felt something special in that moment, like he was sharing something important. Do you think she knows you still come here? Jake asked. The old man smiled. I hope so. I talk to her sometimes, just like we're talking now. Jake thought about his own grandma who lived far away. Maybe I can help you remember her too, he offered shyly. The old man's face lit up. That would be nice, Jake. Very nice indeed. They sat together as the afternoon light turned golden. Jake realized that love doesn't disappear when someone is gone. It stays in places, in flowers, in stories, and now in their new friendship. As the sun began to set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, the old man turned to Jake with a gentle smile. Thank you for listening to my story today, he said, his voice soft but full of emotion. You know, in all these years, you're the first person who has ever asked me about Clara and our bench. Jake looked up at the old man, surprised. Really? But your story is so beautiful, he replied. The old man nodded, his eyes twinkling in the fading light. People are often too busy to stop and listen. But you did. That means a lot to me. Jake felt a warm feeling in his chest. He hadn't realized how much his simple question meant. I liked hearing about Clara, Jake said honestly. She sounds really nice. The old man chuckled. She was, indeed. And she would have liked you very much, Jake. They sat in comfortable silence for a moment, watching as the first stars appeared in the sky. Then the old man stood up slowly. It's getting late. You should head home before it gets dark, he said. Jake stood up too. Can I come back tomorrow and hear more stories? He asked. The old man's face lit up with happiness. I would love that, he said. As Jake walked home, he thought about the old man and Clara. He realized that by listening, he had given the old man a precious gift, the chance to remember and share his love. And in return, Jake had received a story he would never forget. Walking home from the park, Jake thought about the old man's story. He realized something important. Listening was more than just hearing words. It was about understanding feelings and sharing moments. The next day at school, Jake saw his classmate, Mia, sitting alone at lunch. She looked sad. Remembering the old man, Jake walked over. Can I sit here? He asked. Mia nodded. Are you okay? Jake asked. Mia sighed. My cat is sick, she said. Jake listened as Mia talked about her cat. He didn't offer advice, just listened. After a while, Mia smiled. Thanks for listening, Jake. I feel better now. Jake smiled back. He understood now why the old man was so happy when he listened. That evening, Jake told his mom about his day. I learned something important today, he said. Sometimes people just need someone to listen. His mom hugged him. That's a wonderful lesson, Jake, she said. The next day, Jake visited the old man again. I listened to my friend today, like you taught me, Jake said. The old man patted his shoulder. You're becoming a good listener, Jake. That's a special gift. As they sat on the bench, Jake realized that listening could make the world a little kinder, one story at a time. From that day on, Jake visited the old man every afternoon after school. They sat on the bench under the big oak tree, sharing stories and laughter. The old man told Jake about his adventures when he was young, and Jake talked about his day at school. Sometimes, they just sat quietly, watching the ducks on the lake. One day, Jake brought his friend Mia to meet the old man. Mia was shy at first, but soon she was laughing at the old man's funny stories. The three of them became good friends. The bench, once a lonely place, was now full of life and happiness. Seasons changed, and so did their friendship. In spring, they watched the flowers bloom. In summer, they enjoyed the warm sunshine. In autumn, they collected colorful leaves. And in winter, they shared hot chocolate from a thermos. One evening, as the sun set, painting the sky in beautiful colors, the old man turned to Jake and Mia. "Thank you for being my friends," he said with a smile. "You've made my days bright again." Jake and Mia smiled back. "We love spending time with you," Jake said. The old man looked at the bench, then at his young friends. This bench was special because of Clara. Now it's special because of you too. As stars began to appear in the sky, they sat together, happy and content, knowing their friendship was a gift that would last forever. As we finish today's story, think about how listening can open doors to understanding and friendship in any language. Did this story touch your heart? Were there any new words you learned today? Share your thoughts and new vocabulary in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to English Storytime for more inspiring stories. See you next time.